Hello and welcome to today's edition of Your Questions Answered with Father Gruner. I'm John Vianney. In this program, we take your questions that you send to us. We're getting a lot of good questions. Please keep them coming. Questions@thefatimacenter.com. You see it on the screen there, questions@thefatimacenter.com. Here's one about Padre Pio. The person says, I've read numerous times that Padre Pio was beaten by the devil. I do not doubt that such a holy man would be a sure target for Satan, but my question is, where was his guardian angel while the devil beat him?
Well, first of all, I've certainly heard of Padre Pio being beaten by the devil, and there are pictures of Padre Pio bruised around in his face from these beatings.
As St. John Vianney, too, was attacked.
And of course, his guardian angel wasn't just our Lord himself. They said the crucifixion, I mean, if he wanted to, he could call 12 legions. I mean, sure, one legion or even just one angel would be good enough, but he could have called 12 legions of angels to protect him if he wanted to. But so Padre Pio as a victim soul would be allowed to be beaten by the devil, for the salvation of souls. So his guardian angel was no doubt nearby, obeying orders from heaven. But in this case, the devil is allowed to do this. I think that's the simple question. I didn't know it was numerous times, but there's also a time that Padre Pio describes, and it's in some of the books. I went to San Giovanni Rotondo where Padre Pio lived, and I lived there for the last 6 months of Padre Pio's life. And so I got to Mass in the morning at 5 o'clock many times. He didn't always say Mass because he was, it wasn't well enough to say Mass every day. But anyway, but he... And in his later life, I don't think he had as much maybe of these
attacks
as he had earlier on. He died at the age of 81 or close to 81, and so his guardian angel was there, but God allowed the angel to let him. But everything with God is measured, so no doubt the devil couldn't do more than God allowed him to do, and it was no doubt God allowed it for the sake of Padre Pio imitating our Lord in some way and also the second thing would be for the salvation of souls. But Padre Pio tells the story himself that when he was thrown from some place, Our Lady was there and put the pillow under his head, and he said that it's like she treats me like I'm her only son. He takes such good care of me. So it's.
This puts me in mind too. I'm sure you know the story as well of St. John Vianney, who would be, when he was attacked by the devil, he would say, there's a big fish. There's a big fish coming tomorrow.
His big fish, of course, was, our Lord said, you will be fishers of men, and this was, of course, a sinner who was being...
someone who had been away from the church, but he knew something big
was going to happen the next day.
Yes.
There's, of course, the story of St. John Vianney of his bed being burnt, and of course he wasn't in the bed, but so since the devil couldn't get him, he said, you burnt his bed anyway, but there's pictures of the bed still. It's
amazing too that St. John Vianney was so calm in dealing this. He even said at one time, he used to call him the Grappan.
The Grappan.
The Grappan. He says, the Grappan and I are comrades, he said. And at one point said, well, doesn't that upset you being attacked by the devil all the time? And he just said, one gets used to everything, my friend.
Yeah. Well, in fact, he had somebody come to stay with him because he heard these noises and whatnot, and he didn't know if it was imagining it or whatnot. So he had some village man stay, and he was a big, strong guy. He only stayed for one night. All he needed was confirmation. It wasn't just himself. The other guy heard it, but the other guy wouldn't stay for the second night. It was, but you get used to it. So
yes. But to answer the question, of course, as you said, is this is something that heaven allowed. And Padre Pio was allowed to be attacked, and as a victim soul, and as our Lord was crucified, and heaven allowed it to happen.
Yes.
So with that, we will close, and we will pick it up on the next program. Thank you.